Okay, Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rachakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well, and Shalom to you, Akim, that be pushing this word around the globe with faith and truthfulness and sincerity. As always, I'm going to start by saying that we are the real Hebrew Israelites, the real Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians, and West Africans predominantly. However, you are going to get Israelites that do look like the other 17 nations because Israel has been scattered amongst all people throughout our various captivities. But if your seed line by your forefathers goes back to the man in the Bible that is named Jacob, then you too are an Israelite, no matter what you may look like, because Numbers 1 and 18 states that your nationality is determined by the lineage of your forefathers. So we've got some big news coming out today regarding Miss Maxine. This is from BBC News, and this was published 3 hours ago, and today's date, I believe, is the 2nd of December. Salakia. It says COVID-19 Pfizer biotech vaccine judged safe for use in the United Kingdom from next week. And this is from BBC News, and here you can see one Edomite woman about to get destroyed, juk up. Ridiculous. So let's get into this. It says the UK has become the first country in the world to approve the Pfizer BioNTech coronavirus vaccine, paving the way for mass vaccination. Britain's medicines regulator, the MHRA, says the jab, which offers up to 95% protection against COVID-19 illness, is safe to be rolled out. Now, before I go any further, I want to bring out a precept. Leviticus 19 and 28 states, and this is a law, yeah? If you're an Israelite, this is a law, and we're supposed to adhere to the laws to the best of our ability. Leviticus 19 and 28 says, Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am Yahweh. So we're not supposed to make any cuttings in our flesh. Let's just establish that point, okay? And then we continue. So it says, the first doses are already on the way to the United Kingdom, with 800,000 due in the coming days, Pfizer said. Health Secretary Matt Hancock said the NHS will contact people about the jabs. Elderly people in care homes and care home staff have been placed on the top priority list, followed by over 80s and healthcare staff. But because hospitals already have the facilities to store the vaccine at minus 70 degrees C, as required, the first vaccinations are likely to take place there. For care home staff, NHS staff, and patients, so none of the vaccine is wasted. A further 648 deaths within 28 days of a positive COVID-19 test were recorded in the UK on Wednesday, with another 16,170 cases reported. Prime Minister Boris Johnson urged the public not to get carried away with over-optimism or falling into the naive belief that our struggle is over. He told Downing Street News Conference that while the searchlights of science had created a working vaccine, significant logistical challenges remained. The Pfizer biotech jab is the fastest vaccine to go from concept to reality, taking only 10 months to follow the same steps that normally span 10 years. Now that's fucking impossible, man. Just putting it out there. How can it take 10 years to develop something and you can reduce it to 10 months? That's unheard of. It's like saying, okay, a guy can run 100 meters in, 9.98 seconds or whatever it is, you know? And then all of a sudden someone's running 100 meters in 1 second. That would be like, the person would have to be superhuman or have some crazy spiritual power to do that, to make such a drastic jump in improvement. It's insane. So that's already a red light warning flag, man. So it says the UK has already ordered 40 million doses of the jab, enough to vaccinate 20 million people. The doses will be rolled out as quickly as they can be made by Pfizer in Belgium, Mr. Hancock said, with the first load next week and then several millions throughout December. Scottish First Minister Nicola Sturgeon said the first people in Scotland will be immunised on Tuesday. Welsh Health and Social Care Minister Vaughan Gething said the rollout of the Pfizer jab to care homes will be particularly difficult because of how it needs to be stored. Mr. Gething said that it is not possible to transport the Pfizer vaccine to more than 1,000 care homes across Wales. The bulk of the rollout across the UK will be next year, Mr. Hancock said, adding that 2020 had been just awful and 2021 is going to be better. What is this guy, a prophet? Has he got crystal balls or some shit like that? How the fuck is he going to know what 2021 is going to be? But I'll tell you something. 2021 is going to be better for the hopeful elect for the nation of Israel, and it's going to be worse for all your other heathen nations, and particularly worse for you Edomites, because this is the end of your society, man. The Most High appointed your bounds, so you cannot pass. The wickedness has got to stop, and it's going to come to a stop when Yahushua comes back. So there's a little bit more. There's just quite a bit more in this. Let me get deeper into this before I go into this precepts. While Mr. Hancock said the government does not yet know how many people need to be vaccinated before restrictions can start being lifted, he added, "I am confident now, with the news today that from spring, from Easter onwards, things are going to get better, and we're going to have a summer next year that everybody can enjoy." Mr. Johnson added, "It's the protection of vaccines that will ultimately allow us to reclaim our lives and get the economy moving again." Now, haven't we been telling you this from all along, starting with the apostles and elders on down, that this was the plan, to basically lock people down and then get them to a point where they won't be able to go back to their so-called normal lives until they're compliant with the system, as in getting vaccinated and ultimately, taking the mark. And all these people, because they've been stuck at home and they can't do the normal wickedness and folly that they like to do, they're going to be lining up round the block to take this thing. And those that are willing to take this thing, they're going to take the mark when it comes. You can't trust Esau, man. You can't trust Esau. You can't trust anything he says. Anyway, Downing Street Press Secretary Allegra Stratton said Mr. Johnson would not rule out receiving the vaccine jab live on television. Yeah, well, how do you know that thing ain't got water in it? They could just put water in a syringe and stab it in his arm, and I guess people would be like, "Oh, he's taking the vaccine." I mean, it's all smoke and mirrors, man. Everything you see on TV is just illusions, man. And if you buy into the bullshit, then more fool you, man. Oh, goodness. It says, though he said he would not want to take a jab meant for someone more vulnerable. Well, isn't that telling? Let me read that again. It's quite telling. Downing Street Press Secretary Allegra Stratton said Mr. Johnson would not rule out receiving the vaccine jab live on television, though she said it would not want to take a jab meant for someone more vulnerable. The vaccine will not be compulsory, and there will be 3 ways of vaccinating people across the UK: hospitals, vaccination centres, a bit like the Nightingales Project, including some of the Nightingales, said Mr. Hancock, in the community with GPs and pharmacists. Around 50 hospitals are on standby, and vaccination centres in venues such as conference centres or sports stadiums are being set up now. It is thought that the vaccination network could start delivering more than 1 million doses a week once enough doses are available. So let's talk about... Look at this. This is telling as well. Health Secretary Hancock... Health Secretary Matt Hancock says today is a triumph for all those who believe in science. Well, you can believe in science all you want, Mr. Esau, but we believe in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai said this. Let me get this. It's like I'm just going to pull up a precept here. First Timothy 6:20 I want to get. First Timothy 6:20 states that, O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings, and oppositions of science falsely so called. Let me read that again. 1 Timothy 6:20. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science falsely so called. Let's get back to that article where Matt Hancock says today is a triumph for all those who believe in science. Well, let's see what this says.
We've said from the start that a vaccine must be safe and effective before we'd even consider deploying it. Any vaccine must go through a rigorous process of clinical trials involving thousands of people and extensive independent scrutiny from the MHRA, one of the world's most respected medical regulators. Today, I'm delighted to inform the House that the MHRA has issued the clinical authorization of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. This is a monumental step forward. It's no longer if there's going to be a vaccine, it's when. In our battle against the virus, help is on its way. Today is a triumph for all those who believe in science, a triumph for ingenuity, a triumph for humanity, and I want to thank everyone who's played their part in this achievement. The team at Pfizer, the team of scientists at BioNTech, the volunteers who stepped up and took part in clinical trials, and to the MHRA themselves, who've made sure that this is a vaccine that we can all have faith in. Thanks to their efforts, I can confirm that the UK is the first country in the world to have a clinically approved coronavirus vaccine for supply. And now our task is to make use of the fruits of this scientific endeavour to save lives. Mr. Speaker, we've spent months preparing for this day so that as soon as we got the green light, we would be ready to go. We were the first country in the world to pre-order supplies of this successful vaccine, and we have 40 million doses pre-ordered for delivery over the coming months, enough for 20 million people because 2 jabs are required for each.
Okay, so let's continue on. It says NHS England Chief Executive Sir Simon Stevens said the health service was preparing for the largest scale vaccination campaign in our country's history. But experts said people still need to remain vigilant and follow rules to stop the virus from spreading, including social distancing, face masks, and self-isolation. As you can see, all that stuff is contrary to human nature. To be social distancing, wearing face masks, and self-isolating, that's all contrary to the way Yahweh Bashem Yahushua intended life to be. Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees. Let me see that. Where's that scripture at? It's Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1. It says, Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and they that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. So this is woe unto them that decree righteous decrees, and this ties in with Revelation 12 and 12. Which states that, Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So let's get back to the article. We can't lower our guard yet, said the government's chief medical advisor, Professor Chris Whitty. The order in which people will get the jab is recommended by the Joint Committee on Vaccinations and Immunisations decided by the government. Mass immunisation of everyone over 50 as well as younger people with pre-existing health conditions can happen as more stocks become available in 2021. So this lays out the phase of the program. First phase of the program. Number 1, residents in a care home or older adults and their carers all those over 80 years of age and frontline health and social care workers, all those 75 years age and over, all those 70 years of age and over, clinically extremely vulnerable individuals. Number 5, all those 65 years of age and over. 6, all individuals aged 16 to 64 years with underlying health conditions which put them at higher risk from serious disease and mortality. All those 60 years of age and over, all those 55 years of age and over, all those 50 years of age and over. Pfizer confirmed that the first stocks of the vaccine will be for the NHS, which will give them out for free based on clinical need. Gotta be careful of anything that ESOL gives you for free, man. People in the UK will not be able to bypass this and buy the vaccine privately to jump the queue. The vaccine is given as 2 injections 21 days apart, with the second dose being a booster. Immunity begins to kick in after the first dose but reaches its full effect 7 days after the second dose. Most of the side effects are very mild, similar to those side effects after any other vaccine, and usually last for a day or so, said Professor Sir Munir Pir Mohammed, chairman of the Commission on Human Medicine Expert Working Group. The vaccine was 95% effective for all groups in the trials, including elderly people, he said. The head of MHRA, Dr. June Rain, said that despite the speed of approval, no corners have been cut, which is a blatant lie. Batches of the vaccine will be tested in labs so that every single vaccine goes out meets the same high standards of safety, she said. See what this devil's got to say. This is straight up Edomite here, you can just tell, man, through the spirit.
The MHRA's recommendation has been reached following an extremely thorough and scientifically rigorous review of all the evidence of safety, of effectiveness, and of quality of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. The UK government has now accepted this advice and has made the decision to approve the vaccine for use with some conditions in adults aged 16 and over. The safety of the public will always come first. And I emphasise again that this recommendation has only been given by the MHRA following the most rigorous scientific assessment of every piece of data, so that it meets the required strict standards of safety, of effectiveness, and of quality.
Well, your standards are one thing, Miss Esau, but what about the Most High standard? Let's get it again. Leviticus chapter 19 verse 28. Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am Yahweh. So those are our commandments. I don't give a damn how rigorous your so-called scientific testing is. 1 Timothy 6:20 straight up cuts that, man. So let's keep going. It says, given the analogy of climbing a mountain, she said, if you're climbing a mountain, you prepare and prepare. We started that in June. By the time the interim results became available on the 10th of November, we were at base camp. You know, how many of you Edomites die on Mount Everest every year? Oh man, this is just ridiculous. And then when we got the final analysis, we were ready for that last sprint. It takes us to today. The Pfizer/BioNTech was the first vaccine to publish positive early results from final stages of testing. It is a new type called an mRNA vaccine that uses a tiny fragment of genetic code from the pandemic virus to teach the body how to fight COVID-19 and build immunity. An mRNA vaccine has never been approved for use in humans before, although people have received them in clinical trials. Because the vaccine must be stored at around minus 70 degrees C, it will be transported in special boxes of up to 5,000 doses packed in dry ice. Once delivered, it can be kept for up to 5 days in a fridge, and once out of the fridge, it needs to be used within 6 hours. Other coronavirus vaccines coronavirus vaccines are being developed. One from Moderna uses the same mRNA approach as the Pfizer. Sneeze. As a Pfizer vaccine, and offers similar protection. The UK has pre-ordered 7 million doses that could be ready by the spring. The UK has ordered 1 million doses of 100 million doses, of a different type of COVID vaccine from Oxford University and AstraZeneca. Russia has been using another vaccine called Sputnik, and the Chinese military has approved another one made by CanSino Biologistics. What have we got here? The World Health Organization's Dr. David Nabarro said the Pfizer vaccine will not replace other measures for a number of months, even a year. So we have to keep doing physical distancing, mask wearing, hygiene, isolating ourselves when we're sick. So you see what I mean? They're planning to continue this lockdown shit well into 2021, even though they claim to be rolling out a vaccine. Double. Esau is that fork-tongued serpent, man. Never trust thine enemy. Let me get that, man. Let me just get that. Okay, this is Surah chapter 12 and verse 10. It says, never trust thine enemy, for as like iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not altogether been wiped away. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last remember my words, and be pricked therewith. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? You know? So one that goeth to a sinner, and he is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, and though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much to change his countenance. That's Esau in a nutshell right there. Let's go back to the article. He told BBC Radio 4's World at One programme the vaccine will only start to dent the size of the pandemic somewhat later in the year. So let's see if we can view some of these comments if they allow us to show them. I wouldn't be surprised if these people were paid by the BBC to make these comments, man. Let's get this clear right from the start. The vaccine has been tested, results peer-reviewed, and further reviewed by regulators, all experts. There are no such experts on social media. Reading a couple of internet articles does not make you an expert. And this has 1,489 thumbs up and only 190 thumbs down. Roll on the floor laughing. Obviously, your mate doesn't need the vaccine. He's stupid enough already. Just yesterday the BBC was reporting on the danger of humorous memes about the virus, and here you are defying their policy. Mm. Yeah. Yeah, BBC propaganda machine, man. You can see they're clear. This is clearly slanted journalism, but that's the BBC for you, man. So yeah, that's pretty much the news article in a nutshell. I've brought out the scriptures. I've brought out the precepts. So Esau's looking to roll this stuff out in the UK from next week, and this is good news because it means Esau's one step closer to his demise. You know, the Most High appointed his bound so that he cannot pass. Just when he's about to fill his belly, that's when sudden destruction's gonna take him, as a snare. Slacking, roughly paraphrasing. But yeah, Lord willing, that's been an edifying little news update. Lord willing, they don't take this video down, but if they do, then so be it. But you know, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahushai, B'Hashem HaChodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Shalom to you, Arki, and pushing this word with faith and truth and sincerity. So keep your eyes open, man, because it's going down, man. It's going down, and Esau's going down. So yeah, shalom for now.